You can kill me, but you will never destroy me. It takes strength to resist the dark side.
Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one.
Are you kidding? Why the hell should I wait for you?
I know what it's like to try and rebuild a life. I had a bad day too, once.
If you're having nightmares, then welcome to the club. My name's Subaru Natsuki, and I am the Knight of Amelia.
Right now, all I can give you is just death.
It wasn't for you in particular.
You fought 100 men because it's not in your nature to run away.
If you are feeling disheartened, that you are somehow not enough, set your heart ablaze.
Good evening, everybody. I'm glad you're here to watch this glorious, amazing recap stream that I do every single week to talk about anime and have some fun and just generally enjoy a Saturday night. You know how things go. Sorry, I'm trying to hype myself up. I built a deck today. So I'm not quite fully caught up on all of this week's anime. I think the ones I'm behind on are, let's see here. I did not watch Can a Boy Girl Friendship Survive, Dinner Table Detective, A-Rank Party, or Shoshimin. Or any of Moonrise for that matter. So I won't be able to talk about those tonight. But other than that, we do have plenty to go over. There are some surprising changes I'll be making to the roster. And there are some news items that I'll be going over. And if you hear my fucking Discord going off, my friends are playing Oblivion. I don't know if that's coming through because I have my headset on. Either way, there are some other news items we do have to go over that are anime related. Obviously, I think the big one that everyone knows just happened is the Dandadan Season 2 trailer just dropped recently. So we'll be talking about that. There's also all of the news of Netflix's Kakegurui adaptation that has happened. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to make fun of people who don't know when to just stop being idiots on the internet. A little bit about the Ghost in the Shell. And then just some funny videos to end the night. Well, I think the big obvious thing everyone is really excited for me to do is talk about this week's anime. So before we get into that, let's say hello to everyone. Obviously, Muffler Tape was here saying I was late and gay when it was 7:59 on the clock when I hit the start stream button. Okay. Jeremy Turner, I appreciate you. Glad to see you here. Rolando A. Ramirez. I can't roll my R's enough to actually properly pronounce that like a Spanish person, but yeah. Like to see you here. Biggles Mets. I haven't watched anything like this week after Tuesday. Well, there's some good stuff. There's some bad stuff. And then, of course, Marcel rolls in right as I'm doing roll call. So, appreciate having you all here. So, let's get this on. Let's get this going. And I was asked, better have watched Evil Lord? Yes. In fact, that's one of the ones I made sure to watch because I've been waiting for this one to come back for a while now. Oh, and JM the Elite Fan shows up, and Jeremy Turner gifted 10 Crimson Law memberships. And they went to Lethal Lightning, The Coconut, Shu, Nikki Chalak, The Grey Pilgrim, Kill Switch. Hey, interesting. Clie Live, Hazelnut, Spider Anime, and then Biggles Mets gifted another 5 memberships. All right, okay, hold on. Before that, what do I even play for that? Let's just well, first of all,
理想的な柔らかさ。俺の美意識に間違いはなかった。
何をなさっておいでですか。
検品だ、検品。
For those of you who donated, I appreciate it. In Biggles Mets, the 5 memberships went to Slips, Rolando Ramirez, Brandon the Anime Guy, Felix Torres, and Marcel. I do really appreciate it, guys. It makes my day a whole lot better that you are being so generous today. Genuinely. So, let's talk anime. Let's talk about the stuff that we're supposed to talk about tonight. Yes, in fact, Ideal Softness. And that's the one we're going to be starting off with because it's the first one on the list. The Return of the Goat. Reincarnated. Why do I... I'm the lord of I'm the evil lord of an intergalactic empire. I don't know why I struggled with the fucking title of that one. Jeez. Ugh. So I don't think this one has had the best pacing overall, but I do think it's done pretty well. With the 4 episodes that we've gotten. Effectively in 4 episodes, we've gotten a good demonstration of all the training and development that our main character, I forget, his name is Leon, right? I need to double check that. I believe his name is... I might have that wrong. I'm the evil lord, where is it? Of an intergalactic empire. Okay, I can bring this up. Why does this have a 6.5? It deserves... Yeah, Liam, not Leon. Liam. Liam Banfield. Let's go back. Okay, there we go. We got that. So it shows a lot of the development that Liam has gone through in this, and all the training and how he actually gets to the point where he is in the very first episode, where we see him actually taking out a bunch of different, like a whole swarm of enemies. And in the background, it's been brewing up this side plot with this princess who's been abducted. And I'm wondering what exactly they're going to do with that as far as like how that ties into the main plot. Obviously, she ends up serving Liam. But how are they going to go about this? Like, what's going to be like the impetus for her loyalty? Obviously, he's going to end up, eradicating the pirates and freeing her. But is she going to end up looking like one of those freaky fucking monsters as well? Or is this going to be a case where he breaks in just in time to save her? And yeah. I like the story thus far, especially like the silly stuff of like the sword master. Yasushi, I forget what his name is. I should have looked that up too. Either way, I like the stuff where like the sword master is totally BSing and Liam is taking it like deadly serious and actually developing proper sword skills and abilities out of it. And he even like creates a technique no one's fucking seen before with like magic attack from his sword. So I enjoyed that. And there is one other thing. There is one other thing that I do really want to praise about this show, and it's the use of its CGI. And while it's not the greatest looking CGI, I do have to applaud them for knowing how to use it effectively. They do use it to animate a lot of the mechs and stuff in this. And the way they go about it in doing like the interim shots and stuff. And I don't know why all of a sudden all of these ads are popping up like crazy. I haven't been able to fix this. Sorry. They're using CGI in a way that helps them speed along their animation process, but doesn't cheapen the actual good shots that they would benefit from. So, like any sort of attack frame or whatever, where the robots are actually fighting in it, they're not using CGI. But if they're moving around the battlefield, they will use CGI for that. And I think that's a really wise way to use the technology. And if more shows that used CGI to help supplement the workload of like their combat scenes would do something like this, where all the good parts are actually done in 2D, and they could use the 3D to just do like the I guess you could call them movement frames, where you have people moving from one part to the next before another attack. I would be much more okay with that. My big issue, though, is that most studios will do the opposite or just fully animated in CGI. So, all that said, I do really like this one. Like, as of episode 4, I think it's a pretty good anime. Like, I would put it in the very good category. Also, hello to the questioners and RCS Rules. Glad to see you guys here. I appreciate you showing up. Keep watching. They are following the book, so it will be epic. A dark universe, despite Liam. Interesting. Now, I mean, the series has already kind of positioned itself on it kind of being like dark and fucked up. So I'm looking forward to it. If things are going to get even worse, then potentially there could be something fun. And I genuinely do not know why my ad blocker is not working tonight and why all these things keep popping up. So, Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire is one of the better shows from this season. Like, I'm my biggest complaint about it so far is the fact that, like, we had to wait so long between episode 3 and 4. That was I'll have to take care of this stuff after the stream. I don't know what's going on. I'll have to look into it more. Stop downloading that. Well, I don't download it. That's the thing. I just watch it. So, Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire gets a glowing review from me so far. Like, I really do genuinely enjoy this show. Let's keep moving along. He streams it. Dark and fucked up is cool when consistent. A-Rank has that problem where dark and effed up comes out of nowhere and otherwise he's chill show. I guess, yeah. You can do stuff like that. Like, do a total heel turn. One of my favorite moments from Spy Family, actually, was in the midst of all like the shenanigans that they get up to. The handler goes through like 30 seconds of some of like the darkest, most gruesome like war story kind of stuff you could put in there, and then just switches back. And that sort of like contrast, I don't know, heel turn really just for that moment was really effective, if you ask me. I thought it was a really, really good moment, and I think the series probably could have used a little bit more of like the darker undertone part of it, where they were talking about the horrors of war and all that, to contrast with all of like the peace and stuff that they Spy Family is another subject. Spy Family is another subject. Unaware Atelier Meister. So as always, Kurt is Kurt. Nothing revolutionary really happens there. I mean, the dude builds a mansion in like 3 days, makes a bunch of like insanely impossible technology, like a perpetual motion machine. Okay, let me just clarify. Perpetual motion machines violate the rules of physics. This man just broke the whole universe casually. But I digress. In all of this, though, we do see that Bandana, the the yes, you are correct, RCS. Atelier, it's so bad, but I love it regardless. That and like the Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows are both like shit shows that I just enjoy because so yeah, Bandana is up to some shit. She is like an intelligence agent or something like that, and I don't know what the fuck is going on there. So she is sus. But really the biggest development in all of this, is that apparently the princess in this show is a real freak. Like she is full on just like ready to like she is ready to get it on with Kurt. Like she is horny. Like holy crap. And just for that one thing, just for that one little thing, I'm moving it up one. One. Okay? Because it's funny. It is so bad. Like under any other circumstance, like I would drop this show, but it's at the point where I'm just like so like mystified by everything that happens in this that I can't stop watching it. I just enjoy it that much for no other reason than it is what it is. So we're here. Like Mono, basically 4 retards living their best life. Yeah, she was down bad, just like me the first week Kowloon Generic Romance aired. She got it bad. Well, they basically built this giant mansion as like a honeypot for the people trying to kill her, and she described it as their love nest. So yeah, she's pretty down bad this time. Well, she was doomed and came in there, and he came in there and fed her his gruel, which was the best thing she ever tasted. Of course, she loves him. Fair enough. Fair enough. I will not try and sell you this as some like piece of like masterful art. It's fun. It's just stupid and fun. I have no other defense for it. Let's continue on down the line. So, the beginning after the end, one of my least favorite shows this season. And now, this episode wasn't horrible. We have the whole thing with Arthur saving the elf girl. And they go on their journey together to take her back to her home somewhere. And she can't do it on her own, so like she is like she has like the really like pure innocent air about her this whole time. Like she cares about all like the animals and stuff, and she sets the killer wolves free, and yeah. All to get to like the very end of this latest episode, and then all of a sudden it's like trying to bait us into thinking she's like betraying him or something. It wasn't bad. It was just, as far as delivery goes, I'm not too terribly impressed. I could care less about the way it's animated at this point. Like I've said my piece on it. It's hard to watch any of the fight scenes because they just lack so much passion in my eyes. But as far as the story goes, that's the part that really matters. And I'm still waiting for it to, really take off, as people have been saying. I'm not going to really sit here and bash on it too much because I already made a video talking about all my problems with it and why I don't like it. So we'll leave it at that. But this week's episode, not horrible, still not anything that I would say, oh, well, it's changed my mind on the matter. So it's going to stay right there. And we will continue on to Catch Me in the Ballpark. Biggle's favorite anime. So it's like chocolate cake, terrible slot for you, but you enjoy it nonetheless. If we're talking about Atelier Meister, yes. I am not. I am not. It pretty much is a junk food anime. If we're talking about the beginning after the end, I feel like if the novels are truly good, this anime has done a terrible job of presenting people like the actual experience of the novels. And that's something I'm really curious to like see for myself. But yeah. So back to Catch Me at the Ballpark. So we got the whole like announcer teasing episode this time. And well, the two major parts of this are effectively the announcer part and the mystery surveys part. In this one, genuinely, like I can see why people would like it, but this one is one of the candidates for me to drop. I'm not dropping it yet, but this one may end up on the watch later list. Because right now, lately, I just haven't been feeling it. There have been a lot of times where I just don't really find myself entertained about it. The love confession thing happened, this one. And it was entertaining to see her get all flustered and do this whole confession thing and like kind of like flirt with the guy. That much was, okay. And then we had like the mystery survey part, where she gets all of these these surveys from people, and like the security guard tells her who dropped them in. All the people who gave her survey, who turned in surveys for her, and they're all the customers that she serves. Those parts are nice. It's just one that we're like, if I have to compare it to everything that I'm watching this season, it's just one that I don't think quite makes the cut for me to keep watching it. Because while I do respect it, it's not the worst anime out here. In fact, I'd probably put it pretty like middle of the pack as far as these go. Because some of these up here are just shows that I enjoy for no particular reason and would gladly put below that as far as like writing and delivery and all that stuff in their presentation of the anime. It's just one of those things that might not be for me. So I'll give it another episode. If at that point I'm still not really, really hooked on it, I will probably end up putting it in the watch later category. Because it's not horrible. It is something where, like, if it got a season 2, I would probably catch up on this just to watch the season 2. But right now, I don't really feel like I need to keep up with it. So that's where I am with Catch Me in the Ballpark. Not horrible, not great, but potentially one of the ones I will end up dropping. Yeah. Biggles keeps talking about this bento battle, so I'm at least going to give it that much and see if there is anything there that is worth my time. If that entertains me, I may keep watching it. All right. Let's talk about Please Put Them On Miss Takamine. So, one thing I do not like right off the bat, we didn't get an episode last week. And then we got 2 this week. Which they made up for it. It's just a little annoying that Crunchyroll waited so that they could censor this anime. Oh. Now they don't censor the boobies or anything. You still get plenty of that. It's just anytime there's a panty shot, they put the main character's face over it. Otherwise, I feel like the show has been fairly good so far. It's a little fast-paced as far as like the romance stuff goes. But it's showing that they both clearly have feelings for each other. Episode 4 in particular gives us a lot as far as like their relationship and how they feel about each other. We get like the thing with the cat and how they first met. It very clearly like displays that she has a thing for him and has for quite a while and has been keeping track of him. So as far as ecchi goes, like it actually tells a decent story and puts in an effort to write characters who are interesting and actually have some sort of plot to it. And while it still is primarily focused on maboobies, which I mean, I don't particularly think is a bad thing because oh come on, where is it?
レオン様
理想的な柔らかさ。俺の美意識に間違いはなかった。
何をなさっておいでですか。
検品だ、検品。
And to answer the questions, no, I'm not watching on Crunchyroll, but apparently the site I have been using decided that they wanted to basically have the same version as Crunchyroll, or have been using Crunchyroll to get their version of it. So fuck them. But yeah, as far as ecchi goes, this is one of the better ecchi series that I've watched, but its plot isn't really amazing and its characters aren't to die for. I would consider dropping it if I hadn't already had some experience with the manga and knew what was coming up and actually did somewhat like it already. So it's going to stay here. And I'm not going to move it up or down. I don't think it's promotion or demotion worthy, particularly because everything that happens in it sort of balances out. We get the relationship stuff where it shows our two main characters actually having like feelings for each other and caring about each other, and like genuinely being in some sort of like good relationship and good standing with each other. On the other half, Crunchyroll being Crunchyroll towards the anime. I've maybe seen like what's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 episodes. And that's about it. But I do like it. This as an ecchi anime focuses a whole lot more on actually like having a proper relationship than just using everything as an excuse to display boobage like most ecchi anime, like I don't know, this one and this one would. It's a little bit more story-oriented than your average ecchi anime, but it isn't horrendous. It isn't. Oh, I shouldn't say it isn't horrendous. It isn't fantastic. It's not a good love story like I don't know, The Dangers in My Heart or Love Is War or Horimiya. You're not going to get that kind of story out of it. It isn't there. I have not watched this week's episode of that, but honestly, from what I've seen with Himari, it may just be enough for me to end up dropping it next week. As far as this goes, I think I've read like the first 2 or 3 volumes of the manga. And then I set it aside because when it came to that, there were other things that I needed to spend my money on because I'm an adult and I don't have infinite money to buy every copy of Witch Hat Atelier. But it's something I do enjoy. I can't say enough for you whether you would like it. I think you could probably fairly judge it by episode 4. If you don't enjoy it, I don't think you will. I think that would be a fair assessment. So if you've dropped it by now, you're probably not really going to enjoy it. I think that pretty much concludes my thoughts on Please Put Them On Miss Takamine. So we'll move on to The Two Perfect Saints. WHA. Why am I blanking on what WHA is? Oh, Witch Hat Atelier. Okay. For some reason, that didn't click with me for whatever reason. Yes. So one of the cool things about Witch Hat Atelier is it's getting an anime soon. They actually have an official trailer out for it. So it's just a solid story. Imagine having Elon money, but instead of spending it on conservative influencer baby mamas, you spend it on manga. Yes, I would have a whole library wing of my house just dedicated to having manga. Like literally every a physical copy of like everything that I like. Brilliant. No, I'd start a whole like public library just for like manga and stuff. Just because. So 2 Perfect Saint. So like SpongeBob and his library, yes. So with this episode of 2 Perfect Saint, we get the barrier is finally cast. So Ophelia is no longer able to leave the capital of this new country that I can never really catch the pronunciation of. It's like Panacultura or something like that. I always forget. There's a little bit of ominous foreshadowing with the obvious arc demon saying, I have found you. I finally found you in her head after she casts the barrier. So that's interesting, and like an interesting development, something that I didn't see coming with this. But we also get the sisters regaining contact, and we end with a cliffhanger of the younger sister considering running away from from her country because she doesn't like the people there because they betrayed Philia. But I don't think Mia's going to actually do it. She's going to be like, Philia would never do this. She would never abandon people. She would stick it out and like actually try and save them and do something for them. So I highly doubt she's actually going to run away. And the two of them are going to start working together to try and fight this rising demon realm thing that's happening. Overall, I do like this one. Like I enjoy 2 Perfect Saint. It's one that like makes me happy to watch it. But again, this is another one that I don't think is art or fabulous or you must watch it. It's an interesting show. It's it is entertaining as much as it is pretty much generic because it kind of has a very similar plot to a lot of other things that have been coming out lately. But I enjoy this rendition of it because it does focus pretty decently on the sister revenge plot. That part of it does or is fun. So yeah, we'll see that. The little sis running away and leaving the other kingdom would be awesome. I think that would be an interesting turn, something they could probably explore, but I don't really know if I feel like that would be like out of character for her as much as it would be fun to just stick it to all the people who have been screwing them over. I just don't see it happening overall. It seems way too convenient of way too convenient of a happening. And yeah, I do kind of agree with this. A lot of these shows this season have been good, but not outstanding. So I wouldn't say they're mid. It's just kind of a good season. It's not a banger season. All right, let's move on down the line because we're done talking about 2 Perfect Saint. Let's talk about one of my favorite trash series, like objectively trash series. The Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows. So the girl with the guns is absolutely a weirdo. Yeah, we kind of saw that one coming. She is literally just shoot first, ask questions later. It's still garbage, but it's still entertaining. That said, though, I may drop just because I want some of my time back, and I cannot like consistently keep up with every single one of these anime and do everything that I want to do in a week. It may end up going in the watch later. I don't know. Right now, I'm still enjoying it. I still have fun with it. Like, I pick it up at, like in an evening, and we'll just like watch the episode and then go to bed. But this is another candidate for me to drop because I'm just really not enjoying it a ton. Or not. Well, I shouldn't say I'm not enjoying it a ton. For some reason, I'm thinking of some of these other ones here. I do enjoy it. It's just one of those ones that I would actually consider putting away or putting on the watch later list so I have more time to do other things. It had a decent episode this week as far as like the corruption thing goes, but I feel like as far as that goes, that's like a multi-episode arc and not something you resolve in one shot. So we'll see about this. It's entertaining in its own right. And sometimes the animation is sometimes the animation is good, sometimes the animation is bad. There are like really small stints in here where you get like 10 seconds of like really, really good animation, and then everything else is garbage. So yeah, I'm gonna keep watching it. We'll see how it pans out in the future. One that I'm definitely going to keep watching, especially after all the shit that just went down this episode, The Apothecary Diaries. So, kind of like I predicted with this one, Suire returns. And I say kind of because I knew that the certain characters were sus, and I called it out. I just didn't realize how sus they were. Figures to anyone, so just in case anyone hasn't watched this yet, I'll be vague about it. Figures that she would like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything directly. I'm going to speak as vaguely as possible on this because it's a really, really good episode this week. So yeah, we have all of that. Shisui is confirmed sus. I don't exactly know how she ties into all of this, but she is most certainly confirmed sus. And then we have all the stuff that happens with the clinic lady as well. Like, holy crap, we got a lot of bombshells this week. Like this isn't a Nagasaki or Hiroshima. This was like this was a Sarbamba. Yeah, Marcel, as far as that goes, I'm kind of thinking the same thing here. Like there's too much about her to actually lead me to think that she's confirmed sus, like I said. And that's really all we will say about the Apothecary Diaries this week. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I forgot about all of that. Like, there is so much that happened in this episode. It was a 10 out of 10 episode. But we'll continue moving on to Fire Force. And this is one, I don't know. And correct me if I'm wrong on this one. But I feel like this season just isn't as good as the last two seasons. And now it's been a while, so I'm not exactly fully familiarized with like the animation and like the story of it and all. But I'd like to think that I have a decent memory of everything that's been going on with Fire Force. And for the first 4 episodes, I have been terribly unimpressed with it. And it's a shame because I enjoyed the first 2 seasons of Fire Force, and they're doing something like really big with the anime. It's just like I feel like the animation this season isn't to the same quality as season 1 and 2. I felt like season 1 and 2, well, maybe not having like the most consistently good animation, this season just doesn't try whatsoever. Because there were actual like cool fights that happened in like season 1 and 2. Like when they first meet Vulcan and they go through all that stuff, that part of it was like really cool. You had Arthur and Shinra actually doing some cool stuff. You also had Shinra versus Sho at the end of season 1. That was a really cool part. There were a lot of like really good animated sequences. Benny Maru's fight. There's some good stuff. But it's really been disappointing to watch because I feel like as far as animation goes, it was a downgrade, and it wasn't really something where I would have expected like a super amazing set of animation. Just take some of these fights a little bit more seriously than you do. Yeah, as far as this go, internet claims this episode had season-saving fan service. It had some shots of Tamaki's ass. That part, okay. Yeah, I mean, Tamaki's ass is all over the place in Fire Force. They also melted iron down and like liquefied iron on her ass because it's that hot. But I wouldn't say it's season saving animation. And as far as did you see the nun this episode? They just forgot to draw her face. I didn't notice that. Like I genuinely did not notice that they had forgotten to draw her face. So this one's going in the okay category for right now, and it may end up being that I put it in the watch later until I'm given a reason to actually fully catch up on it. Because the big thing that everyone's been hyping that they have somewhat teased is the dragon fight. So if that doesn't turn out to be like what they're saving all the animation budget for, I may end up just like, setting this one aside, or I might end up only finishing it because this, I think, is potentially the last season of the anime. I'm not quite sure. Either way, yeah. So who gifted memberships? So we had Biggles and Jeremy Turner gifting memberships tonight. Okay. So let's move on with that because Fire Force has probably been one of the ones that I've been really, really sad to see just kind of not live up to my to my expectations. So let's talk Your Forma. And this one is going on the drop list. And for now, I feel like I'm going to put it in the not for me category. So Your Forma, in all of this, the villain was like kind of right. He pointed out the fact that the robots, the Amicus or whatever that this chick had made, couldn't actually comply with AI standards that were in existence. She had just outright ignored them. And he was trying to expose the fact that these things could genuinely become completely dangerous to people. Now, he's unstable and he goes about like killing people, so he is a criminal himself. He does a lot of fucked up stuff. But like, that was like the whole crux of this, is that we're like dealing with this whole, like, there are robots who can simulate being human and they have the potential to go completely crazy and put people at risk. The story overall has not really interested me. It's hinged on a lot of this like weird, like, I don't know, sexual / romantic tension between this chick and her robot partner. And when I say partner, I mean like literally like a partner, like at work. It's like a buddy cop thing, and he is the buddy. And the location changes where they keep jumping from like country to country across like multiple continents, it feels like. Just, I'm not tracking with where they're going, and it's jarring, and I'm not enjoying this anime. Like, the concept of it was cool. I thought it would be a really fun thing, but it just didn't end up satisfying me. So I think I'm done with this one. I'm not really into it. Am I the only one that finds sci-fi anime super all or nothing? I feel like they swing big on concept and it's out of the park or nothing. You know, I don't think I've ever really thought about it, but yeah, kind of. There are a lot of really good and really bad sci-fi anime. I don't know if there's any that are just like super duper mid right now. Although, I don't know, we may end up seeing some mid ones this season. Who knows how Moonrise and other things are going to turn out. So yeah, your Forma goes in the bin. I'm done with that one. One that doesn't go in the bin is another one that blew me out of the water this week. Because some crazy things happened in Kulon Generic Romance. So with this week, I don't look, the clone theory simultaneously does and doesn't hold up after this episode. Like, after what happened with the doctor in this episode and what we actually learn about, like, it's confirmed that there are duplicates inside of Kulon. That's an actual thing. Like, there definitely are. We do get that confirmed. And if the real person is in Kulon at the same time, the duplicate ceases to exist. So that's a very interesting point. At the same time, though, that implies that anyone who is a duplicate or who isn't a duplicate can leave Kulon. But for some reason, Kudo is not able to leave Kulon. So what exactly is going on with this? Like, okay, there's some crazy stuff. And maybe, perhaps, the doctor isn't as evil as we initially thought. Like, he is here, and he's not, well, I should say he's not as evil as we thought, because he may not be the culprit behind all of this stuff. Because from what it seems is, he's in the area trying to investigate a lot of this stuff himself. And he confirms to us that Kujirai isn't a duplicate. She isn't a clone. So what the fuck is going on? What happened? Is the big twist here that Kudo is actually the clone and Kujirai isn't, and she erased her memory because the real Kudo died and came back to. And so she came back to Kulon to escape the pain of losing the guy she was in love with, because she would find the duplicate there, and then she just erased her memory so she could forget about it. Because that's my leading theory right now. Effectively, my leading theory is she did something to try and erase her own memories because whatever, and she's not the clone Kudo is. So yeah, this one would probably be the #1 anime this season if the Apothecary Diaries wasn't airing, and they both had banger episodes at the same time. Like, I am happy. I'm satisfied. Like, it is good to be alive. I will probably end up getting more into the Kulon stuff when Biggles catches up with all of this and we talk about it on the breakdown. But that being said, Sword of the Demon Hunter is the next one on the list. We're going to talk about that now. Another one of the top tier anime for the season. So we get the conclusion to the slasher arc. We get justice served, and good storytelling overall. Now, the animation in this episode is it's dodgy at best. But I'm more focused on the storytelling of this and the way it does everything that makes it so compelling. It's very steeped in tragedy, and it does a very good job of exploring like a lot of its own like creative elements, like the way it creates demons and their powers, and how all of the how its characters interact throughout the world. It's all really, really well done. So with this episode, there's some really like good, like cathartic and tragic moments to it. And it continues to execute really well on a lot of the things, even if its animation isn't the best. I am very compelled by the characters and the stories that it tells. So, that's really all I have to say about this. I mean, obviously, at the very end, this dude goes and he kills a bunch of not so good people who did some not so good things to women to avenge the guy who gave his life trying to avenge his wife. Yeah, there's some dark, fucked up stuff that happens in this, but it's all really good. I'm sad that the aristocrats' otherworldly adventure, serving gods who go too far, isn't going to get another season. I'm not familiar with that one, but I feel like I've heard the title somewhere before. Can't believe High Dive landed this series. It's actually really awesome. Yeah. For whatever reason, Sword of the Demon Hunter has been way, way, way better than I ever expected it to be. So I'm very, very happy with what I've gotten so far. I also made sure to watch Yaiba this week because I've been loving Yaiba. And I still like it. The fights are fun. I do like the goofy, very shonen style of storytelling with like the shifting allegiances, like converting your enemies into allies, the way Dragon Ball did. That's another thing. It's very similar to Dragon Ball in. It's overall just a really good show. I like how they've also handled the appearance of the main protagonist very early on in the show, and how, in spite of him already showing up and like powering up and doing all this stuff, there's still a bunch more that the story can take on rather than just going straight to the main fight. Yaiba has a whole training thing. There are a bunch of evil minions that he has to now take care of because of Onimaru. Overall, just a good, fun show. Like, I genuinely enjoy it. The animation is good. It's very creative and fun and kind of a throwback to some older anime stuff because, well, this is a remake. So, and Crimson approved. It's funny and charming, but also the ending looks like it's impossible to end. But a phrase implies that it is open for a second season, but the power level seems too high to have bigger threats. Yeah, I've seen stuff like that. Okay, so let's move on from Yaiba because I don't really have a whole lot else to say about it. Just I enjoyed the fights this time around. I like the characters and the whole training arc part of it. And Frog. So let's talk about Paul Greyrat reincarnation. From Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman. Because this is another one that I do enjoy, even though I will admit that it's not the greatest. It's still fun to watch, except for the beginning of this episode with the fight scene against the monster. The animation was kind of doo-doo for that. Like, it genuinely wasn't impressed with how slow and, like, clunky it felt. But it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. So we get Beryl fighting a monster and contending with this really, really powerful beast. And then we have one of his students coming in and dealing the finishing blow after he had basically spent a bunch of time, fending it off. That part was fun. Like watching Beryl go toe-to-toe. They do his OP stuff really well. Like he's a really, really good swordsman. Like he genuinely is. He just isn't overpowered. Like there are still things he cannot do. They have balanced him very well so far. And then, of course, we get the trope of the small girl getting the biggest weapon in the series. Which is funny. You give the tiny little girl the fucking Zweihander. Oh, that's fucking great. Like the moment they were talking about giving her a new weapon, I'm like, all right, well, now it's okay. Big ass sword, big ass battle axe, or big ass hammer. Which one is it? It was the big ass sword. Not as big as I thought it was going to be, but still a really, really big sword. And I too did hope that he would do a little bit more in that fight, but looking back on it, I'm a little bit more favorable to how much he actually did on his own overall. So I like it. I do enjoy this show. As much as I will say it is not the greatest, I still do enjoy this show. It's genuinely enjoyable. I just wish that Beryl would get a fucking clue. Yeah. Yeah, I could get into the physics of that with like specific heat and all that, and you can technically make an argument they just didn't do a good job with how long it felt like he was running on that lava. It's kind of hard to justify there. Witch Watch. Let's talk about Witch Watch, another one of the best anime this season. So Nico is just chaos. She is just chaos. And she has a knack for finding trouble, and I don't understand. No. I mean about his skills. I wish Beryl would get a clue about his skills. The age gap thing, I genuinely understand. He literally just doesn't think like there's anything that could happen there because he's so much older. And plus, basically, when he was an adult when they were little kids. But back to Witch Watch. And yes, Nico is pretty much everything I was kind of hoping Himari would be in Can a Boy Girl Friendship Survive, but wasn't. So Nico is the better of the two chaos gremlins. I liked the whole fashionistas thing where she's like trying to flirt with Moi, and he's just like focused on her clothes because he thinks she has like the same hobby as him, like their interest in vintage clothes and all that. I also like the fact that as a joke, they did the whole like keyframe intro. For a second, I almost thought that they had put the wrong intro in the series, but then I realized, oh, wait, they're doing this as a joke. Like they're literally making a joke about Nico accidentally screwing up the intro. That part was funny. And then, of course, we get, well, we also get another Hunter x Hunter reference with the Chairman Netero stuff. And we get the new Crow guy, which is funny. But really the best part of this, was it this episode? I believe was the doublet. Where they did the, Ichi ni beep beep, Ichi ni beep beep. That part was funny. Like that got a really a pretty hearty chuckle out of me for that one. She just keeps splitting herself in half. Is your intelligence cut in half too? Oh God, this show continues to get better. Like genuinely continues to get better with every episode. So hats off to Witch Watch. Really fucking funny comedy. I love that magic always has trade-offs in this series. Makes it really compelling and believable as far as why witches wouldn't run the world. Yes. Definitely is cut in two. They don't get it, and that's hilarious. And it's hilarious, yes. Small Nico is just was funny. The doublet thing was probably one of my favorite things from that episode. Let's go with the Gorilla Gods go-to girl now. Because this is one that I am not really into. And in a lot of things, this one is just kind of generic. I just started watching, super funny, a cute, tarded version of Kiki. I still need to watch Kiki's Delivery Service. I keep telling myself, okay, you got to do that. You got to do that. You got to do that. And I never get around to it because I'm stupid. I should just buy it and watch it, okay? But yes, the Gorilla Gods go-to girl is something that I am going to drop. I'm putting it in the bin. I'm done. I can't take it anymore. It's not that it's a horrible anime, okay? It's just that it's so terribly generic to me. Like I just don't enjoy it as much as everyone else. Like its world and its characters and its story just isn't enough for me. I feel like a lot is left on the table as far as that goes. Like there's no lore, there's no history, there's no like world building or anything going on to really like make me care about the setting and the characters. It feels like a shoujo plot with a shonen power system. And I don't think I'm a huge fan of that. So, while some people may enjoy this, I don't. And I probably won't continue to watch it. Scratch that. I'm not going to continue to watch that. Because I don't enjoy it. It has not been fun. So, that's all I'll say about that. I didn't get as many videos out this week as I wanted to because of, well, poor time management and some other things that I had to do. But rest assured, my next video is going to kind of be talking about why I'm not really a fan too terribly much of this anime. So I'll try and get back on my regular schedule this upcoming week and do 3 videos, like I said I was going to. As far as the Beihei Neko, As far as the Beihei Neko reaction goes, didn't turn out as well as I had hoped. There were some audio issues, plus it sounded like me just basically being an asshole to a bunch of voice actors that I don't need to. So instead, this upcoming Wednesday, for members of the channel, I will be doing a members first video reacting to the AI dub of Supercube. And I haven't watched Supercube whatsoever, so I don't even know what I'm getting into. So it's both my reaction to the actual anime itself, as well as the dub. So that's what I'm doing in place, because I did promise to do something like that. I gave my word, and then my plans didn't turn out as well as I had hoped. So I'm sorry for that. I have failed you. Plus, like I said, there were some other things that came up this week, and I didn't have the time. We'll move on from the Gorilla God, because, well, we're putting that one to rest. Anne Shirley. This is one that I enjoy for just for what it is, as far as like an anime adaptation of a piece of classical literature. I find that very interesting. There were some small hiccups with like animation and stuff in this episode that I did notice. But I don't think it's anything worth demoting the show over. I did like the part where like they had Anne saving the kid's life, but the whole wine thing felt really overdramatic, and in this anime, it felt like it was a little over the top. I wasn't a huge fan of that part of it. But everything else about this show has been pretty good so far. I have enjoyed it. So I'm going to keep it right here. I like the animation, the art style, just the fact that they're adapting a classic piece of literature into anime, and the fact that it actually works pretty well. And I still don't understand why they continue, why like Anne keeps her hair in braids when it looks a whole lot better with it straight. So, yeah, I guess that's the thing. I don't really have much else to say on it, because as far as that goes, yes, I agree. Kind of forced drama with the wine. That's really my big complaint about it. Okay, let's continue moving on to an assassin and a ninja living under one roof. The bangs are the problem, grow them out. Like, I don't actually know enough about style or fashion to like have those kind of critiques. All I know is that when she actually doesn't have her hair braided, it looks better to me than when it is braided. So an assassin and a ninja living under, or a ninja and assassin living under one roof, Ninkoro. This episode was an animation downgrade. It just was. They had a proper fight scene in this one, and it just wasn't as good as that first episode, which I kind of figured was going to be the case. So it wasn't really a huge letdown. But I still really had fun with this. I do like that they kind of make you feel for a few of the other ninjas. Like, not too much, because, well, I mean, they're assassins too. But like, you get a little bit of a sight into their whole life and everything. And then like at like the very end of each episode where a ninja disappears or something, you get this like, okay, well, now you have just this empty room and all that, and like they're just gone. They've been reduced to leaves. Otherwise, it is just a dumb, fun kind of series. It's goofy. It's like straight up just stupidity. I enjoy it for that. But I'm kind of sad to see the animation go away after episode 1. That's really the big point I have to say about it this week. Will I demote it right now? Yeah, I'll probably move it down a couple. because I wasn't a huge fan of that part of it, but it's still a good show overall. It's still in the very good category. So Lazarus. So I'm pretty sure we have just in this episode, we meet Skinner without them ever actually saying that it's Skinner. When they go to the homeless camp, there is a guy who looks almost identical to Skinner. And you cannot right now convince me that that person that one of the characters kneels down right next to and tries to talk to isn't Skinner. Like, there is no way he is not. Otherwise, I like the action sequences. And I don't think that the one line that it had about like a trans person with a criminal record, okay, it's a little cheesy, a little corny, but I really don't freaking care. Like, I know some people complained about it. I don't care. It didn't bother me. Still really like Lazarus. I don't know if I'm moving it up to the very good category or to the must-watch category yet, but I do enjoy it. I think it's fun. My voice is starting to go out a little bit here. Sorry. I'm feeling it. It's been delivering on all the things that I wanted it to. And the characters are fun. I like the story so far, and the action's been good. But it is kind of floating in that like mid 7 to mid 8 range right now for me. So it's really gonna have to up its game if it wants to jump to the next category. Okay, keep on keeping on. Yandere Dark Elf. Titties. I like elf titties, okay? This is another one that literally is just an excuse for boobs, but I am gonna say that like it gets a pass because they're elf boobs. We also have the friend wanting to compete with Mirabelle for for Hinata's attention. I think that's kind of funny. Like she is completely jealous at this point. And then, of course, we have the other members of the heroes' party showing up in this world to try and drag Mirabelle back, which I don't think is going to go very well for anyone. And there's going to be some BS that happens. Also, like the painted nails, very rare in anime. Overall, I enjoy this because look, elves, whether it's elves or dark elves, like proper elves or dark elves, okay, that's all I've got to say. Is I'm literally just watching this one because of elf boobs. Let's continue on. So Aharen season 2. One of the series that I do really genuinely enjoy. So the whole pants gag for this one was funny, and I'm gonna move it up for this. We had the sports festival, which was a little bit cheesy, but I did like the part where like they kind of had their like heart to heart element with it. I enjoyed the really the comedy in this one was the pants thing, where she basically goes the whole day she basically goes the whole sorry, I got distracted. I thought the whole pants thing was funny because she basically goes the whole day trying to cover for Rido because his pants are ripped. And she ends up sewing them together, and then he turns around to face her, and his zipper is down again. That part was funny to me. Sport, like I said, Sports Festival was a bit corny with the way they did it, but overall, I enjoyed it. I like how they kind of handled some of the character work for it. I like this episode. I've been liking the series so far. That's all I really have to say about that. I don't even remember which one you recommended me at this point. And part of the issue with me trying to watch it may just be the fact that I haven't had the time. So, sorry. Okay. Yeah, I agree. The festival arc dragging would have kind of sucked. Some anime just make that too much. I like that they just did it in one episode and we're done with it because they only really had some bullet points to hit for it. Osan Newbie Adventure. I'll have to put that on the list at some point here. Vigilantes. Let's talk about Vigilantes. Because this is one I do want to move up. I like Pop Step, okay? I think I like her character, especially now that we've like seen her in plain clothes. Like in her civvies. And the fact that everyone bums off of Koichi, who is probably like the most broke person there. Like he's a college student. Like, why does everyone have to bum off of him? It also begs the question because clearly Pop Step is still in high school. Where are her parents? She probably just lives alone or doesn't have any. There was some nostalgia bait in this episode with a bunch of like the famous heroes showing up with like Endeavor, All Might, Midnight, Ingenium, all that stuff. But I overall did enjoy this episode, especially because like there was the eel thing, which was a little weird, but it does play into the story, and we do meet one of the major villains for this, so that's cool. The Queen Bee chick, interesting power, but I have to wonder what's up with that. I have overall enjoyed Vigilantes much more than I thought. And I've actually been listening to the intro to Vigilantes quite a bit at work this week. Like I've been painting and stuff and doing like drop ceilings and I'll just pop my earbuds in when I didn't need to like talk with people or do anything like that and just listen to the intro. Also Pop Step. So that's my thoughts on Vigilantes. Summer Pockets. That's the next one on here. Going in the watch later category. I'm still not quite sure what I'm watching with this one. I don't hate it. I think it would be a good comfort anime to watch between seasons. But it's one that I don't really feel compelled to watch. One that I don't feel compelled a ton to watch, I should say. Because I don't know. It's funny. There's a lot of stupid stuff that happens, but like I don't have a grasp of the characters. I feel lost watching it. Like I don't exactly know what's supposed to be going on with this. So overall, I'm just kind of putting Summer Pockets in the watch later category for now. I don't really feel the need to go and check it out. Didn't watch Moonrise this week, so I can't comment on that. Really just means that there are only 2 things left for me to talk about in this week's anime. So let's talk about Apocalypse Hotel. This is one that I'm actually moving way up. So I enjoyed Apocalypse Hotel this week, especially now that we've gotten like the Tanukian characters. I like the way they wrote those characters. They kind of start acting like assholes for a little bit, but the moment they get like chewed out and everything, they start behaving properly, especially like the kids. So it shows some level of like they're not complete and thorough jerks. They're just from a very, very different culture. I do like the fact that they're focusing more and more on the extraterrestrial stuff. I like that. They're going to be doing more and more extraterrestrial guests, I would hope, which would be fun. Because they have pretty much confirmed in this one that humanity is most definitely gone. Like, they ain't coming back. This third episode has really sold me on it. I do enjoy it a whole lot more now that we have a proper cast. Who the fuck is messaging me right now? Hold on a second. I got to respond to something. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm back. Full attention. Apocalypse Hotel episode 3 has kind of sold me. They've given basically the Tanukians a little bit of a challenge to overcome, and they've shown that they're actually willing to overcome it and that they're good people. They're just not the greatest. They're very disrespectful in many ways. But at least for the most part, they're not willing to be like completely belligerent if it becomes a huge issue, especially with the way they started cleaning up after themselves at the end of the episode. And the secret missions thing has been enjoyable to me. So this one is a surprisingly interesting anime. On the flip side of that, the other new one that I did try last week was Food for the Soul. And this one is going down. I don't exactly think this is the greatest, but it is fun. Particularly because all of the girls in this show are something else. You basically have a ditz, a caffeine addict, and a foodie, and then the teen mom. I enjoy, I'm still watching it. I do enjoy it, but I just think it's kind of okay. It's very much in the same category as, say, The Brilliant Healer for me, where I'm not a huge fan of it, but I do enjoy it for certain parts of it. Where was I? I was let down a bit by today's episode, but not enough good food. Yeah, that was part of it. I think I enjoy the characters of this series more than, say, like the food part of it, and that's what keeps me watching it. Like, I do enjoy the cast. I'm not really a fan of like food anime or like food anime just for food. I will say that. So that is effectively all the anime I have watched. Be prepared next week for me to absolutely drop this if the latest episode doesn't turn out to be good. What else didn't I watch? I didn't get the Shoshimin. I didn't get the Shoshimin this week. I don't remember where that was. I'm just gonna leave it like that. That's where it's gonna go. If I watch more of Moonrise and I'm not a huge fan of the story, I'll probably end up getting rid of that. If the bento battle isn't good, I'll probably end up getting rid of that, and I may just drop this one altogether. Those are effectively the ones that I think I'm probably going to end up not watching through the whole season. Maybe Fire Force as well. Fire Force may end up being a watch later thing. But that is effectively all of the anime for this week. It's everything that I have watched so far. So, let us switch gears and start talking about some news. Why do people want to fucking message me now? Family. Okay. We will talk later, okay? We're done with the anime. Let us move into talking about Dandadan Season 2 trailer. Love this series. Really excited for this. And this kind of gets me hyped.
この体、人間は皆殺しじゃ。言ったはずだぜ。てめえは許さねえってよ。おい、考えろ、やられるぞ。喜べ。はじめに死ぬのは貴様じゃ。
The distortion on his voice is weird. I like it though. I think it fits. And there we go. Is that going to be the intro? Or is that just going to be the fucking music that they use for it? Because I like that. I can't tell if that's CGI or not. I think it might just be the angle and the shading and all of that put together. Because for how much of this isn't CGI, it would be really weird for that to be CGI. So yeah. I don't think it's actually CGI. I think it just looks like it because given some of the lines and stuff on it. Let me go back to that one scene. Just to bring this up, I think it just looks like that because of lighting and everything. It kind of gives the illusion of it, but like everything here, like you can see the lines and stuff. That's pretty 2D looking. It just happens to be a matter of the way it's shaded and the way it's colored. I want CGI to be used right. There are times where it doesn't look good. I wouldn't trust AI to make anime. Fuck that. But there are genuinely good ways to use CGI. And one of the things that I will actually point to is Medalist, a really good anime that used CGI in a very effective way to capture the fluidity and smoothness of actual ice skating. I feel like a lot of those scenes would not have come across as well if they had just straight up tried to, animate them. A lot of the times you will catch some choppiness and stuff in there. And I feel like that would have betrayed the actual portrayal of their ice skating. Medalist used CGI well. And now Dandadan has used CGI. And it wasn't bad. And I even said that the CGI usage in I'm the Evil Lord of an Intergalactic Empire was a good way to do it. So I made a video on my channel a while back that the technology in and of itself is not a problem for anime if they can learn how to use it well. It's just a lot of times you need to find a way to utilize its innate features, like the way it makes everything feel very smooth and mechanical, or you need to make sure people won't pick up on it. Like they did stuff with the Cowboy Bebop movie, and like they did with the Dragon Ball Broly movie. If you put it in a place where people are actually able to pick up on the difference between 2D and 3D, CGI fails. This is why I had a problem with the CGI in the Demon Slayer Mugen Train movie, and why I had a problem with the CGI in Song of Spider So What, other than the fact that the CGI in that was horrendous, especially at the end. It's the fact that you could really, really tell the difference between 3D objects and 2D objects because they were right next to or on top of each other. So I will say I would sooner use CGI for making anime because it can actually be done well. I have not seen any AI animation that has been good or appealing so far. Yes, actually, I think Chainsaw Man Season 1 actually used CGI effectively as well. And I used to be on the train where everything CGI is awful, looks terrible. I'm more so in the position now of use it right, and I don't mind. Use it right, I don't care. Like, you can make it look good. Rock as a Lady's Modesty isn't great with the CGI. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the CGI in that one. Maybe I'll check that one out for next week to see if it's worth watching, but right now I don't really feel like the thing is, to be Hero X doesn't use CGI. It has its own sort of like its own sort of like 3D animation style, I would say. It's much more stylized the way it does things. I have seen like the first episode of that, and I just haven't kept up with it. That said, I'm excited for Dandadan Season 2. Looking forward to it. So let's talk about this. So Netflix has announced that they are going to be doing a live action adaptation of Kakegurui, which I'm not familiar with the series, okay? I will admit I've never read the manga, I haven't watched the anime. But this has been going around, and a lot of people have made these comparisons. And, well, we can actually kind of talk about all of the... we can actually talk about all of the castings so far and what Netflix has done and why Western adaptations kind of fucking suck because they don't understand how to get a character close to their actual casting. So here we have Pirate Nation sharing the meme of all the characters involved and everything that's been cast so far. So this one so far is probably the best of the castings, the most accurate looking one, as you can see across here. This one, what the fuck? This one's a little weird. This one, well, this and this are probably some of the worst. And this, oh, sorry. These two, this one, the one with the mask, and the main character. No, what you don't understand. This legitimately is the Netflix version. This is Netflix's live action that we're talking about here. Not a lot of these castings are great. These are terrible castings. That one's okay. It's not the worst here. I just question why the hair isn't silver. That one doesn't even get the fucking mask right. I don't know how I feel about that one. That one does. That one, I don't think they understand. From what I've been told, this guy is effectively a slave. And they made the slave a black guy. This is Cowboy Bebop live action. Yeah, what are the last two? They can't possibly be serious. No, they are serious. This is a very real thing. This is why I do not trust live action adaptations. One Piece I did end up enjoying because it had the original creator involved in it. This, I have no fucking idea what they're thinking. And it is what you would come to expect from Western live action adaptations. The J-drama versions of a lot of these things are much, much better. It insults me to look at. They just like to disrespect things that they touch. It's Cowboy Bebop 100%. Yes, he is effectively main girl slave. Should I watch this show? Should I watch this show and like spend some time like dedicating a breakdown? For this travesty? I mean, I'm okay with gambling. I'm not great at it, but I guess I'm not the worst. But yeah, I don't know what Netflix thinks when they come up with this kind of stuff. Like, the whole point is to try and recreate the original as best as possible. For some reason, the West can't get that in their head. They have to constantly change something about it or make it their own interpretation of it. No. When fans hear you're adapting something they like, they want you to do the thing. They want you to make the thing that they like, not a skinwalker version of the thing they like with your writing and creativity mixed in. The parts where you get creative is taking the more, I don't know, ridiculous or absurd elements and trying to incorporate them into a live action format in a good way. Yeah, bringing more stupidity to the internet. But it's only going to get stupider because the only thing that can top that is this guy. And I'm really sick of seeing this dude on the internet. Yorch Torch Gaming. Because frankly, he has admitted to getting paid to basically make rage bait tweets and to stir up controversy on the internet. I haven't seen your I haven't seen it yet. Well, maybe it'll show up. But yeah, this whole thing is ridiculous. First, let's read the post and then we'll get into this. exhibition. So he starts off in his typical cringe gamers. I originally didn't go on a crusade against Expedition 33 because it's a new IP. The devs didn't hijack an existing one, and it certainly isn't a Concord where every robot featured pronouns. Basically, this all started because he had to backtrack after supporting the game, and then people came at him like, "Well, you know, there's some progressive stuff in it." This is not a remaster where a Type A, Type B nonsense was injected when there were previously none of that. So as far as that goes, he's referencing the Oblivion stuff that happened. And as far as I'm aware, literally the only thing that's happened in the Oblivion remaster is they did the Type A, Type B thing. And that is, to me, so inconsequential and bullshit to complain about that if you're going to boycott a game over that, you're a fucking retard. I'm sorry. Okay. I don't care. That is one of the most inconsequential bullshit things to throw out a good remake of a game for. Which, by the way, tomorrow I will actually be streaming the start of an Oblivion playthrough. That's one of the things I want to do now because that's come out. So, game's downloaded. We are ready to go to town and play some Elder Scrolls tomorrow. So 3. It's a new studio that hasn't sold. It's sold to a globalist entire like Embracer Group, Kepler Interactive. Its publisher is owned by a group of independent game devs. Basically, this is a lot of fair, but would you ban people from modding it? That's equally as retarded. It's equally as retarded to ban people from modding it out of the game as it is to boycott the game for having it. It is genuinely dumb. If you don't like it, go ahead and mod it out of the game. I don't care. I think people should be allowed to do that. Nexus Mods should not be banning people for doing shit like that. And I don't think people like Yort should be going about blabbering about how you need to protest the game because of that one little thing. But I digress. It is not a Doom the Dark Ages where a feminist company like Microsoft is diluting the existing brand by appealing to the Pedro Pascal Disney Marvel audience. He doesn't know what he's fucking talking about when he says this. Nexus Mod backtracked because the cancellation of premium. Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, which is... I'm glad they backtracked, but the fact that they did it in the first place is fucking retarded. As far as this goes, Doom the Dark Ages looks like a good game. And I don't care if you have I don't care if there are minor elements in it, if it's a fun, entertaining game. I am more interested in fun, entertaining games than this woke, anti-woke bullshit that goes on now. I am more so focused on getting good entertainment rather than just fighting a political narrative. Okay? That is more important. Because guess what? The right can make woke shit too. They did it with, the new Norm cartoon that came out? That was supposed to be airing on Twitter. They do it with a Daily Wire shit that they do all the time. The right can do the exact same spiteful, politically motivated content as the left. And they have, and they will. I don't want either side to be doing that. I want people to just genuinely give me a good story, a good video game to play. Please. I want the entertainment, not a political sermon. Basically, he is saying, so to sum up Yorch's 5th point here, he is saying all this because one character in the game looks slightly less fuckable than he would like. He does not know what he's fucking talking about. Number 6, it's not a Compulsion Games or Obsidian, once revered studio that have been corrupted beyond redemption by DEI and feminist initiatives sponsored by Microsoft. However, the tone of the DEI inclusion in the game is antagonistic towards French and European identity. I can't continue spreading a coherent message if I don't call it out. Many would agree with this, but we can't keep tolerating every single disrespect to Western identity in the form of alternate worlds. If you want to do an alternate world, don't use La Tour Eiffel or l'Arc du Triomphe or Triomphe. I don't speak French, so if my pronunciation is wrong, okay, fair game. As your setting, only to turn it into South by Midnight. Expedition 33 is no better in that regard than woke slop like Bridgerton. I don't know what Bridgerton is. I generally don't care. The game is beautiful. Its art direction is breathtaking. It is definitely a promising future for Western development, but the sneaky DEI pandering ruins the experience. DEI destroys everything. Western gaming deserves respect. European history deserves respect. Western civilization deserves respect. And I don't normally talk about this kind of stuff on the show because I usually do just anime and anime associated things, but Yorch is annoying to see constantly on my pop up on my timeline from other people. I should just straight up ban the word gamers from my feed because I don't want to see this fucker or JDA show up in my feed anymore. They completely ignore the point that this whole culture war was actually started on. It was never about being anti-certain message. It was more so about being anti the bad products of that certain message. We didn't want spitefully motivated entertainment being pumped down our throats the whole time. That was my impression of why a lot of this culture war started, why a lot of us actually started, commenting on these IPs, commenting on the way things were treated. Why a lot of us took to YouTube and started making videos about the woke DEI stuff because, well, it was the beginning point for a lot of bad products, things that ruined characters we like, things that told shitty stories, things that got good reviews in spite of being bad products because they checked all the boxes. Yes, the original Gamergate just wanted to be left alone. That was effectively my position on this, is I want to be left alone. Politics can stay over there. Politics can be its own thing. And you can have those conversations. I will in a bit. But just swapping out someone's message for your message and basically becoming the exact same thing you've been fighting does not seem like a good idea to me. So, John A. Douglas. He's cool. Dermy Wormy, okay. Engagement bait, yes. That's a proper call. A lot of people glazing fucking Yorch in here. Calling Az a sellout. Just keep going. Okay, here you go. You don't show any evidence for your claim in full context, so why must we trust what you say and believe you aren't overdoing it? I think the best part of this post let me see if I can find it. Was do you see now why this dude is a retard? I hope you understand now. As you know, gamers, what do you think, gamers? What do you think, gamers? What do you think, gamers? Someone explained exactly what it was that he was talking about. Yeah, the plot has totally been lost. the only way you can play a game is by looking at every single woke thing in it, then maybe you don't deserve to play the game. Yeah, I've been playing the game nonstop since release. There is no anti-Western or anti-European messaging at all. It is just a dark fantasy world heavily based on French culture, with the ultimate moral being making the most of your life while you have it. I see. So it's not even the real world. It's just kind of a European-ish setting like most fantasy is. Cool. And that's a lot of why I just don't pay attention to a lot of this, woke stuff anymore. Oh, this is pretty short, so I guess we can go through it. Yeah, the devs are French, yes. It's one of those games where I hear a lot of people saying that it's good, it's fun, and that it was really well developed, and that it's not something that we want to fucking kill. Even Yorch said that it was a well-made game, but all of a sudden there's a woke thing in it, so I gotta protest it because it's woke. That's retarded. If a game is good, if a show is good, if a book is good, it's good, regardless of what its message is. I think the message of Attack on Titan is fucking retarded. It is basically human beings are prone to violence and we can never fucking fix it. There's nothing we can do. So, fuck it, kill everyone. But I like the show because it's well written, it's good. Even if you don't agree with the moral of something, or if you don't agree with a specific aspect of it, you can still enjoy a game. That's the point I'm making. You can still enjoy a show. You can still enjoy a book, whatever. And that's where this new wave of like anti-wokers have come in, is they basically made it their life's mission to talk about all this shit. Like, you can't talk about these issues, or I'm never going to play the game because it doesn't, I'm never going to touch this piece of media because it doesn't 100% agree with my ideology. You know what you sound like when you say that? In SJW, the same exact people who we've been complaining about ruining entertainment for I don't know how many years at this point. For me, at least since 2020. It's kind of like the Witcher series. It has racism, bigotry, etc., but it's not woke. It just has characters and a deepness to the plot. Correct. And I will finally move on from this topic because I'm sure as all of you are sick of me talking about it, so am I. So we're going to talk about a completely different thing that's kind of related. And as so far as we have some quotes here from the creator of in the Shell. So, Ghost in the Shell director says political correctness has made Western games terrible. And now, as far as this goes, my comments are kind of going to be along the same lines as what I've just said. Political correctness started from the idea of giving legitimacy to the socially weak. There is nothing wrong with that. In a mature society, it is a natural responsibility. However, the problem is that it has taken that as a starting point and made the socially weak into the strong. They were given priority in getting into school. Okay, yada, yada, yada. We know all that. What's more, the companies that advertise. Basically, it's based on admiration. If you deny admiration, entertainment loses its reason for existence as entertainment. In the past, even if you said beautiful, people would say it was discriminatory. Western games are really terrible. And effectively, to just sort of like finish that topic off and then move into just wind down mode. The ideology it wasn't so much the ideology that was the problem. Well, I mean, the ideology was effectively the source point for a lot of the bad media we got. But it wasn't so much that they had messages or things they wanted to say. It was the fact that they were trying to turn everything into bad politic sermons. I actually have like a big Ghost in the Shell book up, like it's right here, like literally right here. That I still need to get into. I used to be hardcore anti-woke, and to some extent I still am, but I think things aren't woke just because someone says they are. Yes. Well, my point on that is, like, having watched a shit ton of anime and stuff, what a lot of people will say is woke now is basically black and gay, which is bullshit. Because I mean, I watch anime with, you know, black and gay characters in them. I mean, Fire Force has a really cool black character in Ogun. And I mean, Tokyo Ghoul had a lot of gay characters as well. I don't think either of them are woke for featuring those things. When it becomes woke is when it starts trying to make a point of preaching out of it. That is when you become woke, and that is effectively where I draw the line, is when you start preaching. Like I said, the right can do the exact same thing. And they do. So that said, my voice is starting to get a little hoarse here. So I'm just going to kind of call it, rather than going over these videos that I'm sure everyone has seen. The solo, I'm sure everyone's seen the solo leveling parody stuff. I'm not really going to bother commenting on it. And then there was some other like last memes and stuff, but okay. Japan has totally different value. When those values look like a fourth wave feminism, then I have an issue. Agreed on the preaching. That's what retards are saying about Expedition 33, just because it has a black people in a fantasy world. Yes, we were just talking about that. So to end the night stream, this upcoming week, I'm going to try and actually get those the videos that I've been talking about out, and try and dedicate a little bit more time to it. But I have some unskippable cutscenes coming up, I guess you could call them. I'll just leave it at that. Here in real life, things I have to absolutely do, and I may not have the time to get around to some of this stuff. But tomorrow I will be starting up Oblivion. So we're going to be playing that right from the character creation. I'll be booting it up for the first time on stream. So I'm going in raw. And it is my first time playing Oblivion ever. So I hope you'll all tune in for that. Have some fun with me on that one. Otherwise, I'm going to try and put out a couple of videos. I think I got the Gorilla God one that I'm cooking right now. I'm going to try and do a reaction to the Supercube AI dub. And I don't know what I'm going to do for later in the week, but okay, my voice is really actually starting to go out. So thank you everyone who showed up. I'm not going to list you off. I hope you all have a great evening, great weekend. Hopefully I'm not too terribly bad tomorrow. And I'm glad you all enjoy this. So let's play us out. I hope to see you again for another anime recap next week. Also, I mean, we're most likely doing the Big Ol' show on Monday. So later, all, have a good night. I'm playing.
Hibana-chan.